So location is huge when it comes to storytelling because it's going to set the tone. It's the environment that your subject's in. It's where Lee is going to be, and it has a lot to do with how comfortable they're going to be as well. So there's two things we want to think about when we're finding the right location. Is it authentic, and is it accessible? So here's what I mean when I say is it authentic. Is it authentic to your character? So for Lee's story, he is an outdoorsman. He's been camping his whole life. He loves the outdoors. The mountains would be a perfect place to interview Lee because that's authentic to Lee. But let's say we have a grandmother. We put a grandmother in an empty, grungy warehouse. That's not authentic to a grandmother. So why did we choose a house, a living room, kitchen for Lee's story? Because Lee's a family man. He loves his family. He loves his wife and kids. So this is a great spot for Lee to share his story. That brings us to accessibility. When you shoot in somebody's house, you have access and control over almost everything in the house. You can move furniture around, you can shut the AC, the heater off if you need to, you can unplug fridges, anything that makes noise, you can typically get rid of it. You can block out windows, so you have access to everything. Now, here's the truth, this actually isn't even Lee's house. We needed more access than what we are comfortable with asking somebody because we wanted to shoot a few lessons of the workshop in there. So we went on Airbnb and we found a house that was like, we could pull this off for looking like Lee's house because we knew Lee's story's pretty dark. We're gonna have a darker setting, a darker environment for Lee's story. So that's gonna kind of cover up anything that maybe might be a stretch for Lee. So we were able to get in there way early, set everything up, take our time setting it up and getting it right, and shoot Lee's story, and then still have time to shoot a few lessons inside this house. So accessibility was a huge factor in shooting Lee's story there. So always consider, is this going to be authentic to your character? Not just your character, but to the story, to the subject matter. And are you going to have the access you need to tell the story well? So if accessibility is such a huge deal, why not shoot it in your church auditorium or somewhere that you have control over? You can get it set up the whole day before. It's because it's not very personal. To shoot in a church lobby or in the church auditorium, unless their story has heavy detail in that auditorium or in a church setting like that, it's just going to feel kind of cold, and it's not going to feel like them. It's going to be partly uncomfortable for them too. If you're shooting in a location where there's maybe people coming in and out, or there's all constant noises happening that you can't control, it's going to throw off like any momentum you have, and it's going to make things awkward. So shooting in somebody's house is always our go-to option just because of the comfort and the accessibility.